Greetings comic book fans and welcome to my comic reviews for the first week of August 2015. I've got 14 books to review this week, so without further ado, let's get into our reviews. It's a bit different this week. We're going to kick it off with the Indies, and I have 4 books to review from the Indies this week, 3 from Image and 1 from Valiant. So kicking it off with Image, we have We Stand on Guard, issue number 2. Brian K. Vaughan and Steve Squodge, I still don't know how to pronounce that name, Squoise, I don't know. Anywho, art-wise, I really enjoyed this book, really loving the art. I like how at the beginning of each issue we kind of get a glimpse at Amber's childhood. That's really cool. The main story I'm liking. We're getting to know some of our characters a bit better. The only thing at the moment that I'm not quite liking is that I feel the Americans are, there's not enough depth of them as villains. If they're going to be the villains, you know, no villain is one-dimensional, just evil. Even the Nazis had different sides to them. Yeah, they were ultimately evil and their aim was evil, but they were complex individuals, as you would have people that run the concentration camps, and they would have their families, and they would go home in the evening and be this loving father to their family, but then during the day commit so many atrocities. So, you know, just to have somebody as evil or as a bad guy, I just feel at the moment it's, and the thing about war as well, there's atrocities on both sides, no matter who's right, who's wrong. There's atrocities on both sides. So I'm hoping as we go on, which I'm sure with a writer of Brian K. Vaughan's ability, he will make it more complex with the villains. But so far, that's the only thing that I'm not quite feeling it. Other than that, I'm really enjoying it, learning more about this world, learning more about these characters. The ending was a shocking twist at the end, as like you get the real feel that nobody is safe. So yeah, We Stand on Guard, issue number 2, 4 stars out of 5. So next up we have 8 House, issue number 2, Arclight. Really enjoying this. The art's really quite different. You can't always tell who's a male and who's a female character until you hear people talk, and then you kind of get the gist. But that's an interesting kind of twist. But one thing I really found about this issue was that I really, already 2 issues in, and I really care about these characters, and that's always a good sign when you're so early in and you care so much for the characters already. The main character whose body has been stolen, and like her husband thinks she's just turned into this cold-hearted bitch, but it's not that. It's somebody else has got her body, and I just found that really heartbreaking, and I really felt for those characters, and really want them to get reunited. And so I'm really rooting for the so-called at the moment good guys. I'm liking Arclight, that he's an interesting character, and we're learning a little bit more each issue. My only kind of criticism of this issue, we have this code, and the code is given to us in the bark, and it's like a language, and whenever they use magic they use this code. And at first I loved this. I would stop reading the book, I would go to the back, translate it, and I loved it. But I think they do it a bit too much in this issue, so you're constantly flicking back and forth, and it kind of really slows down the story and breaks it up, and wasn't good at all. So I think in the end they need to get a better balance with that. Other than that, I'm really enjoying this book and really into it. I give 8 House, issue number 2, Arclight, 4 stars out of 5. So our penultimate book and our last book from Image, it is Jupiter's Circle, issue number 5. Love that cover, by the way. My only gripe with this book is I don't know who all the characters are. Now that character is Sky Fox. He's the character that this issue concentrates on. The character behind him, that is Walter, but I'm not sure what his superhero name is, nor her, but I think she's married to the Utopian up here. Then that guy, I remember him from last issue, but I don't remember his name. And then we got Blue Bolt, who was our first story arc. So I do wish that they do something to let us know the names a bit more, maybe have a thing on the inside page or something, I don't know. That would be helpful. This book concentrates, like I said, on Sky Fox, and I really like that, how each issue picks a different member of the team and concentrates on them. I think that's a really good idea that they do. I get very much a vibe of Watchmen with this, and I don't know if it's because it's set in the past, or if it's because with like an alternate history kind of deal, or if it's because how real these characters feel with their personal lives. Yeah, they're superheroes, but their real lives, away from being a superhero, feel so real. and that's kind of something I kind of remember first experiencing with Watchmen and how real those characters felt in the comic. And I really felt like Watchmen was the time that comics grew up and changed a bit, where the characters and what they went through became a bit more real. And so yeah, with this, I get that very much same kind of vibe. I like the story. could see where it was going, but it's not always a bad thing, because sometimes, you know, that shows that like the story is going in a good way, that you know where it's going, it all makes sense. It's great to have twists, but sometimes people try and pull twists off and they make no sense. At least sometimes if it's straightforward, you know where you're at. And this isn't straightforward by any stretch, but they set it up nice, so when you get that twist at the end, it makes sense. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this book. This was another really great issue, and I give Jupiter's Circle issue number 5 stars out of 5. So our final book this week, it is Imperium, issue number 7 from Valiant Comics. And it sees the two most powerful characters in the Valiant universe, Harada and Divinity, meet up. And this was awesome. The structure of the story is it's backwards, which is the way that Harada is experiencing, because he kind of knows this isn't true reality, that it's Divinity messing with stuff. So Harada keeps rejecting each future he sees, so he goes further backwards, and he learns a little bit more each time about Divinity. And I really like the whole structure. It worked well with these characters and made the story really intriguing, because you genuinely did not know where it was going. It looks like they're going to have a rematch next issue, which should be interesting, as Harada goes into it with a lot more knowledge of who Divinity is. This continues to be an excellent book from Valiant, and throwing Divinity in there against one of the other most powerful and most ambitious characters in the Valiant universe, I really liked, and I'm really looking forward to seeing these two clash again. And this issue was another great issue, and I give it Imperium, issue number 7, 5 stars out of 5. So those are the indies. Next up, we're going to go DC Comics. So, 4 books from DC this week, and we're kicking our reviews off with Green Lantern, issue number 43. Really enjoying what Robert Venditti is doing right now. He's really took Green Lantern back to having space adventures, which is always the kind of Green Lantern I love the best. I like the supporting cast is established around Green Lantern. They're all really good. Reintroduces Relic into the story here, which is interesting, and I like the reason that Hal has to go to Relic. And that is all really good. I also really like, you know, what's going on with Black Hand, the mystery there. We kind of can see what's happening, but why is that happening, and how is it going to stop? Because like he's already destroyed one world we know of, so what more is he going to be, you know, going to do before we get kind of a cure or some answers? Yeah, I'm loving this. We got Ethan Van Sciver back on art, and it just feels like authentic Green Lantern to me, because he was the first artist who was on the book when I started buying it. So kind of like whenever I see him on a Green Lantern book, ever I see him on a Green Lantern book, it always just feels to me like, yeah, that's Green Lantern. So yeah, I really love his art here. The story is just great. Really great time to be reading Green Lantern, and I give Green Lantern issue number 43 5 stars out of 5. So next up we have Midnighter issue number 3, and this was a really good issue, back to the quality of the first issue. The art is really good, and I like how some of it's laid out. I did find some of the action sequences a bit difficult to follow, which I think was a complaint with the first issue as well. But the way the book's laid out, it looks gorgeous, and majority of the art is fine. It's just some of the action sequences I think could be a bit more clearer. I like what they're doing with the character of Midnighter. They make him really interesting. The stuff with him and Matt, I think, are some of the really best moments in the book, as we really get to see the different side of Midnighter. I like the stuff where he's going after these villains to get, because he's trying to get all these weapons back, and this latest weapon he's trying to get back, they've kidnapped a child to kind of use this weapon on, because it needs a child. And I really like this scene with Midnighter and the child's mother. I thought that was really nice, and kind of really establishes that, yeah, he can be ruthless, and he will kill without hesitation, but that he's a good guy and he's trying to help people as well, and I liked that. All in all, I'm really liking what they're doing with this issue, and at the end we get an appearance from Grayson, which looks like where that's going next issue with a team up. So all in all, yeah, this was a lot better, I felt, than last issue, and I really enjoyed it, and I'm going to give Midnighter issue number 3 4 stars out of 5. So our penultimate DC book, as we're just flying through them this week, it is Batman Beyond issue number 3. And yeah, this was just brilliant. It's been one of the real surprises for me of the new DC Ranger books. Because I went in, I picked it up because it was Batman Beyond, but I expected to hate it because of the changes. But I've really enjoyed what we've got so far. It's been a lot of fun. This issue, we see, you know, we saw last issue, our Batman Beyond got captured by Brother Eye. So things were looking really bad for him. And this issue is like, what's going to happen to him with Brother Eye? Is he going to be able to escape and complete his mission? It was great. It was a really great roller coaster. I liked where it went. The art was really good. There's particularly this one scene where Brother Eye is trying to get information out of Tim, where he's kind of flashing on his life, which I really liked that whole thing, and it really brings new readers up to speed of like where the story's been and where it's going. I liked the end of the issue. There was a real nice twist that I liked. Just as you thought that like Batman had won the day, there's a really nice twist that kind of brings you back and gets you excited for the next issue. All in all, this has just been really great from issue 1, and it remained really consistent. And I'll give Batman Beyond issue number 3 5 stars out of 5. So our final book this week is Batman Detective Comics. Well, our final DC book this week is Batman Detective Comics, issue number 43. Again, it's a $3.99 book, but it has that extra thickness, which you get from DC. With Marvel, you seem to be the only difference between $2.99 and $3.99 is the digital download, which is great if you love digital downloads. If you don't use the digital download, you're paying an extra $1 for nothing, really. With DC, at least it feels like you're getting more bang for your buck when you pay that $1 more. This issue is brilliant. I really like that we get to see more Batman this issue, which is good. Bat Gordon is written really well here, and I like what they're doing with him. And the whole thing about why the 3 guys that attacked him, what were they after, gets answered here. So that's really interesting. We get Harvey kind of confronts his girlfriend about her being a crooked cop, which is really cool. And then he's kind of called into question, was he crooked with her? We get him make a request of Bat Gordon, which it looks like it's going to take the book in a real interesting direction. Maybe a bit dark, we'll see. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. It's sad that Buccellato, who writes this, is leaving the book, because even without Manapul, he writes a really good issue here. But I'm looking forward to Massey coming on the book, and I'm really curious to see how they're going to finish this storyline. And I give Batman Detective Comics issue number 43 5 stars out of 5. So next up, it's time to make mine Marvel. So next up, we have 5 books from Marvel to review, kicking off with the Secret Wars books. First up, we have Age of Apocalypse issue number 2. I enjoyed this. This was good again. The art, it really captures the flavour. The best way of the original, the best way I can describe it, it's got that old school style, but the new school flavour. You know, and I like that. That it captures the feel of the original while still having its own kind of feel. We get to see a lot more what's going on. We get Sabretooth kind of investigating what went down and getting answers. We get the X-Men, and we kind of catch up. One of the drawbacks in this issue is because it's been 8 years since they've been stuck on Battleworld. One of the real drawbacks for me of the series is that we're catching up on a lot's happened. It's kind of established at last in here that Sabretooth was an X-Man and he's turned sides. We get kind of established again here as well that Gambit is dead, that Jean Grey is dead, though we don't quite know 100% what happened to those characters yet. But it's kind of very much, it slows the story down because you're catching these things up on all this history, and it kind of not giving the current story hasn't got enough momentum. Other than the Sabretooth investigation, I feel the rest of the story is really has been slowed down as it's trying to catch us up, and it's only a mini series, so things need to be moving a bit more. That would be my only niggle. Other than that, I'm really enjoying this. Like I say, the Sabretooth investigation was really good, and it's really intriguing what they want Doug to do, how Doug fits into all of this. So yeah, I'm going to give Age of Apocalypse issue number 2 4 stars out of 5. We next have the Infinity Gauntlet issue number 3. This issue was a bit of a timey-wimey issue, as Thanos uses the time gem to kind of put himself into the story as a central part, which I really liked that. I thought that was clever. We don't get as much focus on the family this issue. We get like kind of one little plot line as Thanos is kind of trying to kind of plant the seed to them turn on each other, which I really like. Thanos there is quite devious in this issue, and his internal monologues are fantastic. But we don't get as much of the family, because the stories are all kind of coming together as Thanos is put into the main story. Then we have Gamora and Star-Lord kind of put into this main part of the story. So all the stories really converge here. The art from Justin Weaver remains beautiful, and I'm really enjoying this. And I give Infinity Gauntlet issue number 3 5 stars out of 5. So next up we have Miss Marvel issue number 17, and it is the last days of Miss Marvel. It sees her teaming up with her idol Captain Marvel, and it's a great issue. There are moments that are really sad and touching, and there's moments that are laugh out loud funny. This book really just captures everything that's been great about this series. This issue does, and I really enjoyed it. And the art as well was magnificent. All in all, just great stuff. And I give Miss Marvel issue number 17 5 stars out of 5. Next up we have Groot issue number 3. I enjoyed this. I didn't think it was as strong as the first 2 issues, but it was still good. I love how they're writing Groot in this. He teams up really well with Silver Surfer, and they find something that they have in common, or they can each kind of feel. I like how, I always forget her name. Is it Nora? No, Dawn. I always think her name's Nora. It's Dawn. So we have Dawn and Surfer here this issue, kind of helping out the Groot. It's really fun. Really enjoyed the story. I wish they did more Guardians of the Galaxy books with this kind of fun tone, because to me, after seeing that movie, not being a big Guardians of the Galaxy fan before the movie, but I really loved that movie, and I thought that was one of the elements that the movie did well. And in some of the books, I don't think it's quite captured what people loved about the film, where this does. And this is great stuff. Like I say, not as strong as the first 2 issues, but still good. And I give Groot issue number 3 4 stars out of 5. So our final Marvel book of the week to review, it is Star Wars Darth Vader issue number 8. This is great guns. It's really cool seeing Vader go from the henchman underling that he was in A New Hope to being the big boss kind of deal character, where the only person above him in Empire is the Emperor. So it's great seeing that ascension. We have like his machinations here, and I love the whole heist with the bounty hunters, and the kind of reveal at the end of that was really cool. I also really liked seeing Vader then have to go back to the Empire, and he's still this underling to Grand General Targ, and Targ kind of puts somebody with him to keep an eye on him again, and this guy already looks like he's more dangerous than the first guy that Vader got rid of. So yeah, I really enjoyed this. I'm really enjoying where it's going. I felt the art this issue was really great. At times, you know, Larocca been trying to draw Vader or some of the bounty hunters can kind of get proportions a bit wrong, but I felt this issue was the strongest he's done yet, and I'm really enjoying all the Star Wars books really, but this one in particular has been really good, and it gives Star Wars Darth Vader issue number 8 5 stars out of 5. So those are my reviews. All it leaves us to do now is to find out what was the pick of the week. So here we are, pick of the week, and this week my pick of the week, it is Airboy issue number 3. This was just brilliant, and really what this creative team are doing on this book is just been superb. In somebody else's hands, this could be an offensive mess. But what Robertson does really well here is he has moments where, yeah, the character is a jerk, but there's moments of real self-awareness, that is very self-deprecating in this issue, as he admits that, yeah, I'm a jerk, I could be better. And he's really brutal and honest about himself and about his abilities as a writer. And there's something about that that you can't help but respect and can't help but endear that person to you. Because like, I know I'm somebody that when I meet people in my life that speak truth and are very honest, they're the people that I tend to gravitate towards becoming friends, because I like that. That's a quality that I really respect. So that really opens that character up and makes you kind of overlook maybe some stuff that maybe in other hands you might find offensive. And there are moments in this book where he is kind of you could kind of say he's offensive, but then there's other moments that are really poignant. There's this moment where he finds his counterpart in Airboy's world and he's been killed, and it leads to him being really open and brutal and honest to Airboy about himself and about how he treats his wife. And it's that kind of honesty that just really makes this book really work really well. The art is brilliant, as you can see from the cover. Hinkle and Robertson, even though they're in Airboy's world, they're still coloured as our world would look. The art here is just brilliant in this book, and the colouring just really adds a whole layer to that. We're in Airboy's world this issue, and we meet Airboy's kind of character, all the people that are attached to Airboy, which is really cool. And really great conversation with him and Robertson. That for me is the highlight of the issue. They're backwards and forth, kind of talking about why he does this and stuff. Is really cool. There's a twist, not a twist, but kind of like something that happens at the end, and you're like, oh my god, and it just really makes things really bad for Robertson and Hinkle. And I can't wait to see what's going to happen in the last issue. If you thought, because we're in Airboy's world, that we're going to get an issue without any penises, if Hinkle is going to keep the anaconda tucked away, you was wrong. Yeah, we have, there is a big dose of nudity in this issue. Just when you think you're safe, it's there. But in a shocking and an hilarious kind of way that it turns up. Like I say, this book has just been brilliant. I really loved it from the first issue. It's one of the few books that I think once it's finished, I'm going to get the trade, because I've just enjoyed it so much. And this is definitely one of the best books Robertson has ever done, and Hinkle has just really complemented it brilliantly with fantastic art, and I'm just really enjoying it. And I give Airboy issue number 3 my pick of the week. Well, here we are at the end of the video, which can mean only one thing. It's time to find out who the company of the week is. For anybody new here, what company of the week is each week I take, say for example, the 4 books I reviewed this week from DC. I add the scores together, I divide it by 4, and it gives me an average score. I do the same for Marvel and the Indies, and then I see which one is going to be company of the week. So this week we have a second place tie, as both the Indies and Marvel got a 4.6 rating. So the company of the week for the first week of August 2015, drum roll, DC Comics with an average rating of 4.7. So a good week for DC, as they're the company of the week. I will be back on Wednesday with my usual comic haul video. It's an interesting week this week. I think it's a big week for me. I got about 20 books coming out. I don't know where they've all come from, but that's how it is. But there's some big titles. You've got like Secret Wars is coming out. You've got Batman, which is always a big week when Batman comes out. You've got X-Men Man of War. Some really big Green Arrows, another one of my favorites, that's coming out. So there's some pretty big titles coming out this week. So yeah, it's a lot to look forward to. So I will be back with that whole video on Wednesday. Thank you very much for watching my video. If you enjoyed it, please give me those beautiful thumbs up. Let me know you like what I'm doing. Thank you once again for watching my video. I will be back, as Arnie once said. But all that leaves me to say is thank you very much for watching. I've been Jason. These have been my comic book reviews. Bye for now.